Erev Tov, everyone. I heard on the radio that this is the coldest winter in Yerushalayim since 1950. So it only showed to me that there was a colder winter once. So we shouldn't get so nespoiled. The Gemara says, Esther min Torah min ayin. Where do we see Queen Esther in the Torah? So as I discussed with you before when we discussed the name of Haman min Torah min ayin, the Gemara here is not playing a word game with us, but rather it's trying to convey ideas, thoughts, attitudes, insights. So we have a pasuk in Chumash Dvarim, in the Tochacha, where the Rebbeinu Shalom says, "Vanochi aster ponai bayom hahu," that there is a period of time called Hastoras Poni. So literally, Hastoras Poni means to hide one's face. And we find the same idea in Shir Hashirim. Shlomo HaMelech says, "Mabit min hachalonos meitzitz min hacharakim." The Rebbeinu Shalom looks out the window and he gazes min hacharakim, like from the cracks in the Venetian blinds. So the Gemara says, "Roev eino nira." He sees, but he cannot be seen. Today we would say surveillance. And we see in the Parsha of Kisisa that Moshe Rabbeinu asked, "Hareini noes kvodecha," I want to see it. And the Rebbeinu Shalom answered, "Kilo yirani odom v'choy." It's beyond the power of human beings to actually see it. But the compromise was, "V'raiso es achorai." You will see me from the back. Most of the Meforshim, Rabbi Hirsch has a long essay on it. But Jewish history is seeing, so to speak, heaven after it has acted. Later on, and sometimes the later on can take centuries, but then all of a sudden we see it, why certain things happen. But to see it head on, no, kilo yirani odom v'choy. So that's the general case. What's special here? So the Gemara darshans because of the fact that it says it twice. Haster, astir. It could just say Vanochi haster ponai or astir ponai. Why does it say it twice? So the Gemara says there's a hastoras poni within the hastoras poni. So Chazal interpreted that to mean there's a hastoras ponim on the national level regarding Klal Yisrael. In that hastoras ponim, there's a hastoras ponim on the personal level regarding each and every person that's involved. And therefore, the hastoras ponim is more mysterious than originally we would have thought, because within the hastoras ponim, there are also things that happen that are even more wondrous to imagine. And that's the story of Purim. Now, the Gemara says that in Eretz Yisrael, there was no Hastoras Ponim at the time of the Tanakh, the Bayis Rishon. That's what it meant, that there was Ruach HaKodesh, there were Nevi'im, there was no Hastoras Ponim. The Nevi'im explained everything, it predicted everything, it was clear. Part of the burden of Galut is Hastoras Ponim. Things are always fuzzy. It's not clear. It's not clear who your enemy is and who your friend is. It's not clear what is good for you and what isn't good for you. It's always blurred. And because of that, therefore, the Hastoras Ponim nationally is very frightening. I mean, we can certainly say that whatever we say about the Shoah, that was Hastoras Ponim. God is not there. Was God in Auschwitz? So that's left for philosophers to debate. But then there's a Hastoras Ponim within that, on individual people, on individual policies. So there's a double Hastoras Ponim. So here in the story of the Megillah, something happens that seemingly has nothing to do with the Jewish people. Achashverosh and Vashti don't agree. And Achashverosh had made this great banquet, and imagine a 6-month banquet. And he invited the Jewish people in Persia under his domain to participate in the banquet. There's a machlekes in the Gemara. There's one man the Yomar that says that he served kosher food. Oh, but that's glad kosher. Shmuel says, the Amora Shmuel says, killed the chazira, served pork, and the Jews ate it. So all the Meforshim say, Rashi and the others point out that it's not a disagreement in Mitzias and what happened. Both things are true. You had a kosher table, but there were Jews that ate from the non-kosher table. And the king said, La sos kirtzoni shvaish. It's a free country. Do whatever you want. Then he has this fight with Vashti and he kills her. Okay. What's that got to do with us? So if we say that the Jews that ate Gildei the Chaziri, that they ate pork, so maybe that's the cause, that's the catalyst, if not the cause, for what happens here. But the cause is much earlier in the Navi Yechezkel. The elders of Israel came to the Navi and they said to him, Kachol HaGoyim Beis Yisrael. They said, we're in Golis. We're never going back there to Israel. The Beis HaMikdash is Chorev. The country is wasted. We're here in Babylonia. We set up shop here, and we're going to be good Babylonians. We'll be like everybody else. We don't want to be special. So in the famous conversation of the Navi with heaven, so the Navi says, I don't know what to say to them. They said they quit. And he hears the voice from heaven saying, tell them to forget it. It's never going to happen, no matter how hard you try. I will rule over them in anger. They'll see that it's not Kechol HaGoyim Beis Yisrael. So there's an attitude of the Jews that live in the Persian Empire. And the attitude is that they're patriotic Persians. Even if they eat from the kosher table, they're coming to the king's banquet. That is their allegiance, so to speak. And so therefore, this leads to all sorts of things. So that's the Hastoras Ponim. Chazal say that Hastoras Ponim was the Jews to God, and not only God to the Jews. They pretended that it's not there anymore. And people are very adept at that, to ignore problems, to ignore situations. So they said, we quit. We're not, say, even if you ate from the kosher table, you said we quit. So that's the Hastoras Ponim of Klal Yisrael. And then there's Hastoras Ponim of the Rabbanu Shalom. So that's the national Hastoras Ponim. The individual Hastoras Ponim is poor Queen Esther. A nice Jewish girl that's raised by Mordechai. She undoubtedly went to the best Beis Yaakov seminary. And she's taken to the king to be part of his harem. In her own personal life, can there be any greater Hastoras Ponim than that? So it turns out that Hastoras Ponim is in order to create the Gula for Klal Yisrael. But she still remains the victim till the end. She's never free of Achashverosh. She's always bound. So the individual Hastoras Ponim continued. And maybe that's the reason why we call this Megillas Esther. We don't call it Megillas Mordechai. We don't call it, Megillas Achashverosh. Because it's her Hastoras Ponim. She's the one that suffers here. And the Megillah does not pretty it up for us. It doesn't give us any false illusions. There are midrashim that say that she bore a child from Achashverosh, and that child eventually became Daryovesh Hasheni, the second Darius, and he is the one that allowed Ezra and Nehemiah to go back to Eretz Yisrael after the 70-year period and to build the second Beis Hamikdash. So halachically, he was Jewish. But whether or not that alleviated the pain of Queen Esther or not, it's hard to say. And maybe that's why she said, Kisvu olai, write this story. Let the Jews remember me. Because the Hastoras Ponim may have ended for them nationally, but it never ended for me personally. And so to speak, she's a heroine, but she's a very tragic heroine because she's a victim of Melchi Aster Ponai Bayomahu. Rabbi Chananya ben Akash Omer Rotza Gori Baruch Hu Zakus Es Yisrael Leficha Yirvo Lahem Torah Mitzvot Shenemar Adonai Chapeit Zman Tzidko Yadil Torah V'Yadir.